Welcome to Plot Twist Radio, the show where creativity, storytelling, and the unpredictable path of the creative life all collide. I'm your host, Erin Egnatz. Hey everyone, and happy holidays. I hope you are all having a wonderful Christmas season. I just wanted to hop on here before the end of the year and give a quick update on what's to come in 2026. First and foremost, the books. A lot of you follow me for my alternate persona, Liza Nevius. And I have quite a few books coming in 2026. I know that I'm going to be starting off with The Dud Witch, which is a spinoff of The Jaded Knight. That has been my most popular book, so I wanted to expand on that world a bit. And so The Dud Witch will be out February 1st. After that, I will have the sequel to that, which will probably be out April 1st. I'm trying to write them all one after the other so that they're out pretty quickly. Coming in June, I will have the sequel to The Jaded Knight, which is The Burning Vow. So that's what's going on with the Eliza Nevius part of my persona. As far as Plot Twist Radio goes, we already have 10 episodes filmed and we have about 80 more to go. It's been such a surprise, a delightful surprise that so many people have wanted to come on and that so many people have listened. So I appreciate each and every one of you. So that is what's going on with Plot Twist Radio and my books. So let's move over to why a lot of you follow me, which is ghost hunts. In February, I will be back at the Ohio State Reformatory. I am not going to be selling tickets for that one, but I am giving away some tickets to join me. It's going to be a very small group, no more than 10 people. I have a couple people coming, fellow podcasters, so that'll be fun. But I am going to be doing a giveaway. I'm going to release the giveaway on New Year's for that one, so stay tuned for that. After that, in late spring, I will be doing the Waverly Hills Sanatorium again. I like to do that every year, so I don't have an exact date for that one yet, but I will be selling tickets for that one, and I will be doing the giveaway for that one as well. And then in the summer, I will be returning back to the Old Lake County Jail, which is in Crown Point, Indiana. As you know, that is a very, very active location, and I've had a lot of requests to go back. It'll be 3 years by the time summer rolls around. I don't know if I'll be doing one or multiple times there, but yeah, so those are the three that I will be doing as far as public goes. I will be going back to places like Sleepy Hollow. I will be going back to Salem, Tombstone, Vegas if I can swing it. I don't know if I can swing that one again. I'll be all over. You'll see me in more of my traditional ghost hunting again in 2026, along with the books and along with Plot Twist Radio. So I'm like the jack of all trades, right? I'll be sharing stories, behind the scenes moments, and maybe a few things that follow me home. Kidding, mostly. Now, on to the show. Today's episode lives at the intersection of music and narrative, where songs read like short stories, lyrics feel cinematic, and every chord carries a character with it. My guest today is Digney Fignus, an acclaimed Americana singer-songwriter whose work feels more like Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska wandered into a Noir paperback and plugged into a glowing jukebox. A former CBS Records artist and longtime storyteller in sound, Digney has spent decades crafting songs that feel less like performances and more like lived-in worlds. His latest album, Black and Blue, The Brick Hill Sessions, is intimate, gritty, and deeply narrative. A record where every track feels like a mini-movie, complete with flawed heroes, quiet revelations, and the kind of emotional turns that stay with you long after the song ends. Digney is also, at heart, a writer in disguise, pulling inspiration from beat poets, mystery novels, and the long backroads of the American imagination. Today we're talking about songwriting as storytelling, character-driven music, and why a great bridge in a song isn't all that different from a killer plot twist. So settle in, because the conversation has a map, a mood, and a good soundtrack. Thank you for joining us today. We are so happy to have you here on Plot Twist Radio. Can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure, I am Digney Fignus, singer, songwriter, general crazy person from Cape Cod. Hello, everybody.
So I was doing a little bit of background on you, and I noticed that your work has been described as if Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska, a noir paperback, and a jukebox walked into a bar. When you hear that description, what part of your creative identity does it capture?
Well, it's funny. Bruce actually before he was in his band and he was traveling around as a solo player, he actually played some of the places that I played in the Boston area, and some of the owners were like, "Yeah, you sound a little bit like him," which I didn't, you know, I don't see it, but he's, obviously a terrific songwriter. I'd love to hang out and have a beer with some point. "Hey, Bruce, if you're out there and you're down in Cape Cod, Digney Fignus is ready to show you around." So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of, when I'm writing, I kinda see songs, and maybe Bruce does the same kinda thing. His songs seem to be very visual and kind of event-oriented, and I kind of see things too when I'm writing a song, I'll see the action, and so a lot of my songs are stories. I guess a lot of that's similar to his style. I mean, not everything that he does, obviously. Yeah, rather than real uh, personal stuff, uh, kiss and tell stuff or whatever. It's more kind of inventions and stories that I am kind of transporting myself to, if that makes sense.
It does, yes. Absolutely. Speaking of, your songwriting and your storytelling, your songs, I was listening to them, they're fantastic, by the way. They feel like little mini movies, I would say, more so than some songs that are out there that kinda seem, run of the mill. These feel more like a mini movie. When you start writing, do you see your music first as like a story or more as a sound?
Well, it depends, it depends on what triggers it. Sometimes, songs like a scene, something I see will trigger something. I like, in particular, there's one song back that I did with on my Columbia record called Another Girl. And I was in a nightclub and we're playing there, and between the dressing room and the stage there was a dance floor. And I was hanging around in that kind of runway area, waiting to go on. And there was this guy dancing with this gorgeous girl. And so I'm watching him and I'm thinking, boy, what a lucky guy. And as I'm watching him, I see this guy looking over the girl's shoulder and he's checking out the other girls in the audience. And that was like a boing. Oh, and I wrote this song, Another Girl, about a guy dancing with a girl and checking out the other girls in the audience, and it was one of my favorite songs on the Columbia stuff, and that was really fun too because that experience with Columbia Records, and that song in particular, I got Vicki Sue Robinson to sing on it, and I don't know if you remember her, but she's the disco queen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
do.
and she was in the studio, she was absolutely phenomenal. It was like having the Supremes all one in one person. She'd come in and sing all 3 parts, one after the other. It was amazing.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's talent.
she was incredible to watch in the studio, and I'm sorry to say, too soon, passed too soon.
Yeah.
Really wonderful talent, and I was very fortunate to be able to get to work with her.
That sounds really cool. That sounds like quite an experience. You always have that, and you have that memory, but it's gotta be something that all artists would want to reach, working with someone of that caliber.
Yeah, I've been super lucky as far as that goes. I mean, with that record, I got to work not only with Vicky Sue, but with, Mark Rivera, who was the, sax player with Billy Joel's band, and he's
Oh.
terrific as well. But, with my Americana CDs, I was able to work with Dave Maddox, and I don't know if you are familiar with Dave Maddox, but he is probably one of the, if not w well, probably one of the top definitely one of the top 10 drummers in the world. And, he's played with Fairport Convention, Jethro Tull. English guy, so he's played with a lot of English sessions. He told a funny story about Paul McCartney in the studio, and, he's played with everybody, and I got to do 3 CDs with him. He played, like, on 30 songs in the studio of mine,
Wow.
so it's like, yeah, I've been very fortunate to, meet some incredibly and work with some incredibly talented people, and it really makes a difference, especially with the drums. I mean, God, to have a solid, drummer is like God's gift.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm in no way musically talented, in no way, but I love it. I love to listen to it, and I know what you mean. You can tell the difference in someone who is solid and someone who, can kinda hold you back a little bit, so having that professional
Well,
is important.
in the studio, it's a whole live and in the studio are really 2 different ball games, of course, in the studio, back in the old days, you didn't it wasn't really a thing, you needed a good drummer with solid time, but now you need a drummer that can be able to play with a click track and be able to play with that solid time, or if, for instance, somebody lays down a drum track ahead of time, and you wanna have live drums put over that, they have to be able to work with that and interpret that and add to it. So it's a little different approach uh, than it than e than back in the other back before a lot of the electronic stuff came in. But, you know, different strokes for different folks. But Dave's a master at all of that, so he's just unbelievable in the studio.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you've lived many artistic lives, as you were just explaining. The rock frontman, the Americana storyteller, CBS Records alum, correct?
Yeah, Columbia, yeah.
Yeah. And then when you look back, do you see one continuous evolution or just like a distinct creative era?
I don't know, I mean, it's kind of like the blonde period and then, the non-blonde period, and
Right.
so, uh in the blonde period, it was really more of electronic guitars and that kind of stuff because I had a big rehearsal space and I was able to, you could turn up the volume. But after, once the band disbanded and all that came kind of to a transition point, I didn't have, all I had was a little apartment and I can't really turn my amplifier up to 11 in the apartment. I was writing a lot of songs on acoustic guitar. I was writing everything basically on acoustic guitar. So, the things kinda changed as far as that goes. And then I got inspired too by I was working at the, folk festivals, the American folk festivals, and I remember one day in particular, I was up in Bangor, Maine at the festival up there, and I'm hanging out at the dance tent, and there's a Cajun band up there, and the place is bumping. I mean, the place the dance floor is like where you can get it it's
Oh,
actually moving, the dance
yeah.
is moving, and I look out on the floor and I see that there's young people, there's grandmothers, there's little babies on their shoulders, there's kids 3 and 4 years old, and they're all out there dancing to this rhythm, and I'm like, "Hmm, I gotta get me a piece of that." So, I started I started kinda I absorbed that experience
Mm.
and that kind of rhythm and that flavor and started to interpret it in my own way, and that's how I came up with that first, piece, "Trouble on the Levee" CD and those song selections, and then it kinda took off from there.
Cool. Okay. That I like that. So as you know, the name of this show is Plot Twist Radio. What is the songwriting equivalent for you to a plot twist? Is it like a lyrical turn or is it like a chord change, a new voice entering the story?
I think it's a new instrument. It's like a lot of times I don't really think that I deserve the credit for the songs. I just think that I'm kind of a vehicle that is able to interpret them or to pull them out. It's like when I get a new instrument, there's generally some kind of new song in there that I'm able to pull out of it. It's kind of like that's the spirit that I'm tapping into, and I'm able to like, yeah, a lot of the songs that I wrote for the Americana albums came out of a Martin, a D35 that I got from a guy in Texas. It was, maybe it was a combination of that Texas vibe, and who knows?
Could be. Could be.
Yeah, you never know.
So you have a new album, correct?
Yeah, the Black and Blue CD.
You tell us a little bit more about that, like your inspiration, I suppose, for the songwriting for it?
Well, this one was recorded over a period of 6 years, so it goes actually pre-pandemic.
Oh, okay.
And so rather than, you know, this CD is probably a little bit more contemporary subjects and a little maybe more politically charged than some
Mhm.
of the other compilations that I put together. Um, it does contain some of the songs that were written pre-pandemic, like American Rose, which is really picking up a lot of, good attention right now, and it had a fabulous video that was made for it, which is interesting because the guy that did the video for American Rose is the same guy that did the video for the, Girl with the Curious Hand, which won the MTV Basement Tapes back, like, a million years ago, and, it was one of those it was almost the same thing as with Dave Maddox. It was like, I didn't know who Dave Maddox was when I approached him I just saw him playing drums, and I said, This guy plays drums pretty good. I got some songs to I like to go into the studio." And I go up to him, I said, "Hey, I like the way you play. Have you ever recorded?" And he says, "Yeah, man, every once in a while, yeah, yeah." And, "Well, give me your number," and, so I looked him up at home, and he's got a rap sheet of, like, as long as your arm, he's played with everybody, and I look at that and I say, "Jesus, this guy's never gonna wanna play with me. You kidding me?" But being the mental case that I am, I sent him over a little demo, and he said, "Yeah, alright, sure, let's go." And that ended up being a relationship that I worked with 3 CDs with him, so the same kinda thing happened with Luis, who was the director. I went, he's been out in Hollywood for 30 years since he did the other video. He's done movies, he's done commercials, he's done everything you can imagine. He's never gonna be able to work with me, never gonna be able to afford what he's gonna wanna do. But I said, I don't care. I'll send him the song anyways." And sure enough, he wrote me back like a couple days later, "Yeah, I love it. Let's do it. Let's put something together." It's worked. I mean, the thing is, he put together this fabulous piece. It's already received almost 30,000 yay.
That's pretty good. Yeah,
Uh,
very
um,
good.
yeah, and that's just because I didn't believe myself when I said it would never happen.
Yeah. Well, you
A lesson
persevered.
for us all, another
Right.
plot twist.
Exactly. Which track on the album surprised you the most while you were recording it?
While I was recording it, well, you're gonna laugh. Probably the last track. It's "Ain't No Horse," and it's a real kinda cowboy song. Um, I didn't know if I would really want to include it because it's so different than, most of the songs on the CD, but it was inspired by I give guitar lessons, and one of my guitar students is an autistic kid, and his thing is he's like a horse whisperer. He's a very talented, he writes songs all the time, but he came to the lesson one day and he says, "Geez, Digney, I was at the, stable today and there wasn't any horse that could buck me off." I said, "Really, John? There ain't no horse that can buck you off?" And it was like another one of those, it was just like and then, yeah, so that, "Ain't no bucking horse gonna throw me right down on the ground." Yeah, so that and then I got to do a yodel solo too, which was fun.
Yeah, I love that, and you know what? That is actually a really cute story. I'm not gonna lie, that's really cute, so I love that. So I only have a few more questions, I promise, and then I'll let you go.
Another plot twist.
Another plot twist. So how has your relationship to storytelling changed across the landscapes as you've progressed in your career?
Well, I certainly have more stories to tell, and, uh, and people actually kinda like the stories. It's interesting. I've been using them on, when I DJ, because I've got I know a lot of the Boston my show is all about Boston bands and New England bands and stuff like that, and I know a lot of these guys, and so I have a bunch of inside stories. I got a lot of dirt on people, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah. I bet.
But I won't tell. Don't worry, boys and girls. I don't kiss and tell, okay? But just remember, I got the dirt.
But you
Yeah,
know.
I know, so don't cross me. Just kidding. Dot. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know, it's like I said, I've got more stories to tell, and this will be one of them too, so, you know, another memorable memory.
Very cool. So, last question. If you could collaborate with any storyteller, musician, novelist, filmmaker,
Springsteen would be good, I'd love to, I think I could work with Bruce. Paul, but he might be a little, musically ahead of me,
yeah, he's in a
but,
world of his own.
yeah, I don't know, but what the heck, I got to work with Dave Maddox. Dave Maddox works with Paul, so I'm only one
One
step
degree of
removed.
separation.
Yeah, one degree of separation. Close.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I would go for Paul. Why not? Go big
Okay,
or go home.
see if you can set it up, will you?
Yeah, I'll let you know. It's so funny. I love the Beatles. My youngest son's name is George Harrison. I love
Cut it
them.
out. Are you
No, I'm
kidding?
serious. Yeah, and his teachers are so young that when they say, "George Harrison, is that a family name?" I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Cut it out.
I'm serious. I'm like, "Oh, man, you guys, wow, I feel old." I feel really old when they say that. So, where can my audience find you on socials and your album? Where can they find you?
Well, I'm pretty much all over the place. You can go to www.digney, Digney.com. That's my website. I'm also on Facebook, of course, just Digney Fignus, I guess. And, YouTube, of course. I'm out there on YouTube, and I think I got some kinda Instagram thing, although I'm not really so hip on the social things now. I'm still analog pretty much, Luddite to, at heart. I'm starting to come around a little bit.
Oh, yeah. It becomes redundant after a while. To You have to go
Yes.
from your Instagram to your Facebook to your YouTube and all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I'm definitely out there though, so and, there's not too many Digneys, although there are some, surprisingly enough. There's
Really?
enough to have an actual Digney beer, Digney beer. So, if you are looking for Digney.com, make sure it's not a beer site, that it's a music site. Just letting you know. FYI.
Just be forewarned. We will make sure that we tag you all of your sites in our posts when we
Oh,
post. Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
You bet. I appreciate it. It was really it was a pleasure talking with you.
Pleasure listening. I You had some great stories. I appreciate it.
Anytime, anytime.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Erin. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye-bye.
one. Bye. That was Digney Fignus, a storyteller who proves that some of the best fiction doesn't live on the page, but in 3 or 4 minutes of melody, voice, and truth. Whether he's writing about lost souls, quiet reckonings, or the spaces between right and wrong, Digney's songs remind us that music can be just as narrative, just as layered, and just as emotionally precise as any novel or film. If Black and Blue, the Brick Hill Sessions feels like a collection of short stories set to music, that's because Digney understands something essential: that great storytelling isn't about format, it's about character, tension, and the moment when everything shifts. You can find Digney's music wherever you listen, and I highly recommend giving this album the kind of attention you'd give a good book. Headphones on, distractions off. Thank you for listening to Plot Twist Radio, where artists, writers, and creators reveal the unexpected turns that shape their work. Until next time, keep listening for the twist.